So I'm working on a new little project here, or revising an old project anyway, and building some cables for my new batteries over there. Making some changes to my power board yet once again. Let's see if I can get this pointed where I'm working here. Not that it matters, I'm gonna move it again here in a minute. But I've got over there several cables that are gonna be coming together where I need two of them, going to one battery terminal. And yes, it's super easy to go to town and pay $6 or $7 for some battery lugs, and these work great. Or you can order the same thing off of Amazon for, 60, 70 cents, but then you gotta wait days for it to get here, which is not necessarily a problem. I just don't do that. What I tend to do is for these, like what I've got going on here where I've got two of them going to one terminal, I make my own lugs. And the same thing for, singles. I make them out of copper pipe. It's not very difficult to do. And it's fast, it's easy, and sometimes that's what you've got on hand to work with. So I thought I would just real fast demonstrate how I pull this off. Now with the single one, or the double ones, because that's what I'm working on the most right now. Let me move this over here. If I can find a place to put this thing. Oh, it might work just fine from there. Actually, I guess from there, we're staring at the sun. We'll do it from this side. This side works. All right, so I start by putting my little bit of copper pipe in the vise. Give it a good squeeze. I get it down to about the right size for my wire to slip in. Because the way I'm making these, I want my wire to be on the edges. Then I'm gonna just cinch that down as far as I can reasonably get it with my vise. And we end up with this. It's still not very tight. So what I do from there is good old-fashioned violence. Whenever you do these, you want the end, this part, to be solid. You want there, if there's a little bit of a gap, if you can see where the seam is, it's fine, but you want that to be pretty snug. And then, I'll just kind of clamp the wire down a little bit just to where it'll hold it there. And we'll give it a little heat and a little solder. You make the crimp as tight as you can, because then that needs less solder. Well, that's still hot. Sometimes it'll hold enough heat where you can flip it around just to make sure you got enough on that other side. Nah, it's too late. But I can see the solder in there anyway. Does play havoc with your insulation, but makes for a nice little terminal that is easy to drill a hole in, get that mounted on the battery. Now for a single end, it's more or less the same process. Let me get my cutter going on here. I do try to use one of these little spinny cutter things because that gives me a nice cut without any burrs. You do you. I've used my chop saw before. And it works, but it cuts, it leaves little burrs and stuff you got to clean up on the inside, which is not a problem. I just don't like doing it. Okay, now with the single lugs, I cut that pretty deep because on that double, I'll be able to run a bolt right in the middle, right in between the two wires. On this one, I need to be able to have enough room down at the bottom to where I can flatten it out and drill a hole down south of where the cable ties in at. And then we end up with this, about 1 inch long. What we're looking for. And this is what we've got. Now this is 1/8 inch copper pipe, copper tubing, and this is 8 gauge wire. Yeah. My process here is essentially the same. I don't really worry about trying to clamp it down with the vise very much. Get my foot that way. We end up with, a place where I can drill a 1/4 inch hole without too much drama. Of course, I'll probably end up pulling this back off and replacing it because that doesn't give me a whole lot of bite, but same process. Then from there, same thing, give it a little heat, a little solder. Come on now. Does not take much to get a good bond. And there we have it. We've got single lug terminal, double lug terminal, and that's how I do a lot of my lugs. Not necessarily for any other reason than I get a lot of this stuff for scrap, and I use it because it's what I have on hand. And while I have it on hand, I want to use it. I can also tell you that if I had some of the cheap lugs off of Amazon, I'd use those instead. And even though it does work It's extra steps, extra processes. And sometimes putting it together, I have had them fail before. Not very often, but it does happen. Can happen. It's not even hardly on screen, is it? There it goes. All right. That's that. Just meant to be a very quick, simple video. Just to show you guys one little thing that I do to, get through my stuff. And very quickly, soon it's going to be hooking all this stuff back up together. So stay tuned. I'm hoping I'll be back up and running by about the middle of the weekend. You guys have a wonderful Friday. Thanks for watching.